In the burning, suffocating heat of Los Angeles, beneath layers of dust and smog, lies a forgotten graveyard. To the locals driving by, it looked like nothing, just piles of twisted, broken metal, rotting slowly under the relentless California sun. But look closer. Look past the rust. For 50 years, a faded sign hung here, Porsche, Foreign Auto. It swung in the wind, guarding a secret that nobody was allowed to see. To the world, it was a junkyard, but to those who knew the truth, it was a fortress. Inside these jagged walls, time had completely stopped, ruled by a man named Rudi Klein, a German immigrant with a temper as fiery and unforgiving as the sun itself. He hunted down the rarest cars in the world, not to drive them, not to show them, but to cage them. "Not for sale!" he would scream from behind the gate. "Go away!" Collectors came with suitcases full of cash, begging to enter, and left with nothing but dust on their shoes. 1 decade passed, then 2, then 4. The shining chrome turned to heavy rust. The expensive leather turned to dust. But deep inside, locked away in the darkest, filthiest shed, the crown jewel was still sleeping. But who was he? To understand the prison, you must know the warden. Rudi Klein arrived from Germany with nothing but ambition and a hunger for steel. He wasn't a collector in a fancy suit. He was a scrapper. He bought wrecked Porsches. He bought broken Mercedes. "I will fix them," he said. But he never did. Instead, he stacked them, one on top of another, like bricks in a wall. In 1976, he made his biggest move. He bought a legendary Mercedes for a fraction of its price. And the moment it crossed these gates, it vanished. Rudi became the dragon, and this yard was his cave. If you asked to buy a part, he would triple the price, just to see you leave. "These are mine," he thought, "all mine." He built walls of junk to hide the treasure. As he grew older, the yard grew wilder. The eccentric collector became a ghost in his own machine, leaving the cars to rot in the darkness, waiting for a savior who never came. Deep in the center of the yard, there was one building Rudi kept locked tight. No one was allowed near it, not even the workers. Inside, the air was thick, heavy with the smell of old oil and dead dreams. It was a tomb. And there, in the darkest corner, buried under 40 years of trash and old newspapers, sat a shape that every car lover knows. It wasn't just a car, it was a ghost. The legendary Mercedes 300 SL Gullwing. But this one was different. Look at the body. It's not steel. It's aluminum. The Alloy. Only 29 of these were ever made. This was the Holy Grail, worth over $30 million. today. But here, inside this dirty shed, it was just an expensive shelf for dust, a race car that never raced, a bird trapped in a cage, yearning for the sky it never saw. Rudi visited it sometimes, just to touch the cold fender, to make sure it was still his. And then he would lock the door again, leaving it back in the darkness. But the Mercedes was just one prisoner inside the tomb. Outside, beneath the open sky, there was an entire army. Welcome to the graveyard of 9/11s. Look at them, hundreds of masterpieces, rotting silently, baking under the relentless California sun. It defies logic. Some were stacked carelessly, like firewood, 3 stories high, a dangerous, rusting wall of German steel. Looking at this, it truly hurts. These weren't just machines, they were dreams. Rare Porsche 356s, early 911s, icons of design. Engines that once screamed on the Autobahn. Nature tried to reclaim them slowly. Vines strangled the steering wheels. Trees grew through the rusted floors, crushing the metal bone by bone. But the warden, Rudi Klein, didn't care. To him, they were just parts, cold inventory. Mechanics begged him for just one fender. Collectors begged him to save just one car. He refused them all. One day, people whispered, one day he will sell. But that day never came, until his heart stopped, and the ocean of Porsches just kept drowning in the dust. But iron walls and secrets cannot last forever. In October 2024, the chains were finally cut. The gates swung open. The world rushed in. The team from RM Sotheby's arrived to free the prisoners. For the first time in decades, sunlight touched the face of the Alloy Gullwing. It looked like an old warrior returning from a long, dark war. There were scars on its aluminum body, dust deep in its soul, but still, it was magnificent. The auction was historic. The numbers on the screen climbed higher and higher. The Alloy Mercedes alone sold for over $9 million. But for us, it wasn't about the money. It was about respect. It was about freedom. Somewhere, maybe Rudi is watching from the shadows. But the cars, they are finally going home. The legend lives on.